Wuthering Heights, written by Emily Brontë, is one of the most powerful and intense stories ever created, blending love, sorrow, and the haunting beauty of the English landscapes. This book explores how emotions shape people's choices, relationships, and futures. It also shows how one generation's struggles can affect those who come after them. The story begins when Mr. Lockwood visits a lonely house on the windy moors. Its owner, Heathcliff, seems cold and unfriendly, which makes Lockwood curious. After staying the night, Lockwood has a frightening dream that feels too real. He becomes scared and wants to understand what is happening in this strange place. That night, as Mr. Lockwood tried to sleep in a small, cold bedroom, he dreamed that a ghostly hand reached through the window and grabbed him. A soft voice cried out, begging to be let inside, calling itself Catherine. Terrified, Lockwood pulled away and woke up shaking, unsure if it was only a nightmare or something far more real. He turns to the housekeeper, Nelly Dean, who has known the families for many years. She agrees to tell him the long story of what happened at Wuthering Heights and the nearby house called Thrushcross Grange. Nelly begins with Mr. Earnshaw, the former master of Wuthering Heights. One day, he brought home a poor orphaned boy named Heathcliff and raised him as part of the family. Mr. Earnshaw's son, Hindley, disliked Heathcliff immediately, but his daughter, Catherine Earnshaw, quickly became Heathcliff's closest friend. Heathcliff and Catherine spent their childhood exploring the wild moors. They laughed, played, and shared a bond that felt unbreakable. As they grew older, their adventures sometimes led them into trouble. One day, they spied on the Linton family at Thrushcross Grange. The Lintons caught them, and Heathcliff was scolded and sent away. Their punishment marked a turning point for both of them. Heathcliff felt deeply hurt and ashamed after being sent home, while Catherine was left behind, confused and upset. For the first time, they were forced to face the idea that the world judged them differently, and that their wild freedom on the moors could not last forever. Catherine stayed at the Grange for 5 weeks, where she learned polite manners and was dressed like a proper young lady. Meanwhile, Hindley became the master of Wuthering Heights after Mr. Earnshaw died. He treated Heathcliff badly, hoping to push him out of the family. When Catherine returned home, she was looking different and behaving more like the Lintons. Heathcliff felt embarrassed and worried he had lost the special connection they once shared. Catherine also started visiting Edgar Linton at the Grange. Edgar was gentle, kind, and came from a wealthy family. She began to feel torn between her wild love for Heathcliff and the safe, peaceful life Edgar could offer. She eventually accepted Edgar's proposal, believing that she could care for Edgar and still keep Heathcliff close as her lifelong friend. After that, Catherine spoke privately with Nelly Dean about her choice. She admitted that marrying Edgar felt sensible and safe, but her feelings for Heathcliff were deeper and harder to explain. She told Nelly that her bond with Heathcliff felt like part of her own soul, even if life pushed them in different directions. But Heathcliff overheard only part of her conversation and believed Catherine was ashamed of him. Hurt and angry, he left Wuthering Heights without saying goodbye. Catherine was heartbroken when she realized he was gone. Her sadness left a deep mark on her life. Years passed, and Heathcliff suddenly returned. He was now strong, confident, and wealthy, but he carried pain inside him. Edgar disliked him, and the two men became rivals. Catherine felt torn all over again, caught between her husband and the friend she had loved since childhood. The stress became too much for Catherine, and she grew very sick. Her health slowly faded as she struggled with her emotions. Heathcliff visited her during her final days. Their reunion was filled with love, regret, and sorrow. Soon after, Catherine died, leaving both men devastated. After Catherine's death, Heathcliff felt as if the world had lost its color. He wandered the house at night, whispering her name, hoping her spirit would answer him. His grief changed him even more than his anger ever had. Heathcliff's sadness turned into bitterness. He wanted revenge on everyone he believed had taken Catherine away from him. Even the moors felt different without Catherine. The wind that once sounded wild and exciting now seemed lonely and cold. Heathcliff often stood outside for hours, staring into the distance, imagining her running across the hills, the way she did when they were young. Hindley Earnshaw grew into a bitter and troubled man after his father's death. He resented Heathcliff deeply and blamed him for many of his own failures. Instead of caring for his home and family, Hindley turned to drinking and reckless behavior, slowly losing control of both his temper and his life. Heathcliff gained control of Wuthering Heights by taking advantage of Hindley's weaknesses, and Hindley died in misery, leaving his young son Hareton behind. Heathcliff raised Hareton harshly, just as Hindley had once treated him. Hareton grew up without proper education or kindness. At the same time, Edgar Linton raised his daughter, young Cathy, with care at Thrushcross Grange. She was bright and curious, unaware of the painful history at Wuthering Heights. Cathy eventually met Hareton, who had become rough and uneducated under Heathcliff's control. At first, they did not understand each other. As time passed, Cathy began to see kindness beneath Hareton's rough behavior. She noticed his loyalty to the house and his quiet desire to learn, even though he had been denied an education. Heathcliff then brought his weak and frightened son, Linton Heathcliff, into Cathy's life. Linton was used as part of Heathcliff's plan to take over the Grange. Cathy was forced to marry Linton, and when Linton soon died, Heathcliff gained full control of both houses. Cathy felt trapped and lonely, but as time passed, something gentle began to grow. Cathy and Hareton slowly became friends. She helped him read and learn, and he softened toward her. Their growing friendship reminded Heathcliff of how he and Catherine once were. Watching them, he began to feel tired of all his anger, as if the past was finally slipping away from him. Their growing friendship brought warmth back into Wuthering Heights, something the house had not felt in years. Heathcliff saw this change, but no longer had the strength to stop it. His mind and heart were filled only with memories of Catherine. He spent his final days wandering the moors, imagining Catherine beside him. His grief became overwhelming, and he died quietly. Some people believed his spirit finally joined Catherine's on the moors where they once played. With Heathcliff gone, Cathy and Hareton planned a peaceful future together. They hoped to build a life guided by kindness, not revenge. The story ends with hope and healing. The younger generation chooses understanding instead of anger, breaking the cycle of pain. This tale teaches that love can be powerful, but also confusing, and that anger can harm many people if it is not healed. It reminds us that kindness, patience, and forgiveness can help repair even the deepest wounds. Thank you for watching. If you love classic books and would like to see more videos like this, click like and subscribe to our channel. Every week, we dive into another masterpiece to inspire your mind and heart. See you in the next one.